So in a previous video we were looking at how you can take these 5 patterns which describe how you can play a major or a minor pentatonic in any key anywhere in the fretboard and digest that information a little bit more efficiently by looking for common shapes. I was showing you the square and the rectangle and how these will reappear across the fretboard, and how the gap, which is my word for how the second and third string in standard tuning, the B and G strings, are actually closer together. They're 4 semitones apart instead of 5, and how that distorts. Here we've got a square and it's not really square shaped anymore, because really our fingers have got to travel further to the right, an extra fret to the right, to compensate for the fact that effectively those 2 strings are 1 fret or 1 semitone closer together. In this video, what I'm going to be showing you is another way that you can predict where these notes are. I've said before that you want to think of the fretboard like it's a window looking into an infinite pattern. So this is about that infinite pattern, and I will show you that now. Imagine you have a massive guitar, right? So the headstock's over here, this side, the pickups are here, your fingers are coming underneath the fretboard here. This is imagining your right hand, by the way. At some point I'll do videos for left-handed people, but unfortunately at the moment that's in the future. And your chin would be here, you know, or imagine that you've got the guitar on your lap with the frets facing you. So this huge guitar has loads and loads and loads of strings. And so I hope you can see, and oh, by the way, there's no gap here. So all these strings, I'm assuming that they're 5 semitones apart. You can hopefully see that there's a pattern emerging. Now, that pattern contains 1 square and 1 rectangle, and I call it the L, because if you're thinking about it as a diagram like this, they kind of look like a big capital L. And if I add this effect, you see that blue colour? That represents the portion of this repeating pattern that you can see on a 6-string guitar. So, you know, if I move this, those 5 patterns all come from there. The only difference is that, let's move this to here. The only difference between this pattern of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 notes and what you would actually find on the fretboard of a guitar in standard tuning is the way that the gap changes it. So I'll put in this diagram to illustrate what's happening. What really happens is this side of the gap, you know, these green diagonal lines, this is what I actually visualize when I'm playing to remind myself about the way that the tuning of the guitar affects these patterns. It effectively means these top 2 strings have been moved 1 fret to the right to compensate for the fact that the musical distance between those 2 strings is smaller. So this pattern here becomes this one. And hopefully there, what you can see, it goes with a C minor shape. That's to do with the cage system. I haven't actually explained that in a video yet, but I will do in future. But if I take away those graphics, hopefully you can see that that's this pattern here, the middle one. See that? How we've come from this L shape, this repeating L, this infinite pattern, taken a 6-string window of it and then just distorted it because of the gap, and that gives us our result. I mean, that might seem like a lot of steps to understand it if you've never encountered this information before, but actually once you get really comfortable with that information, it's incredibly helpful to figure out where you are when you're improvising.